Alright, and again, welcome back to another Age of Empires free-for-all match. This time we have 5 players, and I'll just kind of go around and introduce you to everyone. I am Father Christmas, I am in purple, and I am playing the Japanese. Next up we have red, Boutony, playing as the Tuetons. And if you've been watching our previous games, you will notice that the colors will kind of remain the same for the players. And for the free-for-all matches, red is the last free-for-all winner. So Boutony, actually 2-time winner for wearing the red, so good for him. Next up, we have the Ethiopians by Nggillies, and he is in orange. We have yellow, and that's Iceberg, and he is the Huns. Pretty good boar lure to start. Looks like he does have some sheep just lying around. That's not going to reflect well on his grades. And then we have the Spanish Milzie in green, aka the fan favorite. So everyone's really looking forward to seeing how he's going to show up today. So if you've been watching in the past, I do try and do a grading system after each match. So I will be giving grades. So kind of keep in mind it's going to be level of spice, level of economy, and your economy and military. That's the last one. Let's kind of go on the map. You will notice there's a ton of sheep up in this corner, kind of crazy. And this is the map called Oasis. So you'll notice that there are a ton of trees in the center of the map, and then there is a small lake in the middle with no fish in it. So we'll show you where the relics are. We have one in between purple and red. We have one up by green by the 1,000 sheep. One in the corner between yellow and orange. Another one between yellow and orange. And then the last one by orange. So pretty favored for yellow and orange to get a good handful of them. And, we'll kind of see how that plays out throughout the map. All right, doing some pretty good boar luring out of red. He looks like these sheep kind of out of position, but, that's all right. Oh, back and forth on that boar. Let's see if he gets it right the second time. All right, he gets it right underneath the town center. That's pretty good. And you'll kind of notice that I was kind of annoyed with how far away my trees were compared to everyone else. That was kind of annoying to me. Same with green. He's kind of having the same problem. But otherwise, nothing really too much action in the beginning. I'll try and get it as best as I can. A lot of wolves creeping around. All right, he's got a good farm there. Let's check out in green, the fan favorite. A lot of early build-up, so that's pretty good. Looking to just kind of send away any early aggressors. All right, green is now in the feudal age. Looks like everyone but red and orange are in the feudal age. Let's check out on there. All right, we got a lot of supervisors watching the farms, making sure things get done. So, I can't have too many of those guys. Probably we're collecting the berries. And still getting sheep out of yellow. Looks like he is building some military buildings, so that is good. And you'll kind of notice the first push out of the game. We have, I wouldn't say push. First kind of an aggression. All right, a lot of dudes supervising. Looks like they're watching there. And just kind of talk through my perspective, since I do know what's going on. Double wolves attacking my villager. That was pretty annoying. I thought maybe I could sneak around and have my men-at-arms attack red from the top so he wouldn't know where I started. And but ultimately that does fail because he does have a scout right in my city, so that didn't work out too great. But that was kind of my plan. We do have an early tower out of red. He's doing a pretty good defensive wall to protect his building. So this is really just trying to slow down the economy out of red at the beginning. Wasn't really expecting any like a knockout punch, but just kind of to be annoying and not let the champion just win uncontested this game. He is losing some villagers. That is a lot of downtime. Looks like I did probably mismanage that a little bit, allowing that tower to get built. So room for improvement. We do have some forward military buildings. Got some more man-at-arms coming in. And with the early feudal age, not a ton of armor on those buildings. Doesn't have any murder holes, so I knew I could probably just take down this town center, or try and take down this watchtower. Obviously that does not work. So kind of look around the map again. That was kind of the early push. We do have some forward buildings there. We do have another wall out of yellow. Pretty good defensive wall. Not allow anyone come in. Does leave it pretty open against orange. But, I mean, orange is the point leader. We do have some red knights coming in and attacking the eco of purple. Trying to build up this wall out of for myself. But obviously that was a little bit too slow, as he does get a couple of villagers. So trying to just stall some time to get some spearmen out. And then I knew I needed this wall to be done. Otherwise, there would be non-stop knights in my base. So we get that out of the way. We have another knight just being annoying, killing some more villagers. And we do have orange going into the Castle Age. Again, they got a pretty good house wall in the way. Really fortifying that relic position. And we do have a completed wall out of yellow. And we have a few mills out of Milzie. I love that. And he's got a pretty big army, so he's ready to fight if he needs to. So we have a town center being built right there. 2 knights taking down that villager. Was going to try and steal some stone while I was there. Why not? And you know, we got that going on there. Do have an enclave of woodcutters. And we do have orange, you know, taking some defensive positions, getting a relic. He's definitely going to get this one all locked up. And yeah, no way he's not going to get both of those. We do have a handful of spearmen over here. Don't really remember what their plan was. Oh yeah, I do use those to get those woodcutters. But, you know, they are cut down by a long swordsman. Looks like yellow is doing some scouting into orange. Maybe trying to figure out what his buildup is at the moment. And he's got a pretty solid wall against green. So looks like he's prepping to maybe go after orange. And while orange does have 2 of the early relics, and orange is in the points lead. Let's look at his resources. He's got a lot of resources, a lot of wood. Maybe he could be spending those resources to build up his army. Can't really help you in the bank. And we do have a scout running along here. Red's fortifying that relic. And we do have a finished wall out of purple. We do have a lone sheep. That's kind of the city pet, so didn't want to kill him. That'd be just kind of rude. All right, we do have a pretty good military out of green. We do notice that a lot of these sheep are yellow, so maybe he could have been scouting with these sheep or looking around. Let's look at yellow's point of view. Look at Faga's War. Yeah, maybe he could be using these guys to, you know, do a little exploration. I mean, you're probably not going to get them all the way to your base, but, you know, you might as well be checking out. We do have a little bit of a skirmish here. We had a few spearmen attacking the villagers in that town center. And I knew with those amount of long swordsmen, you know, I wasn't going to be able to get that back. We do have a few red knights discarding some valuable positions on the outside of this wall. And we do have a pretty huge army out of yellow coming in. And this is going to be the first major battle of the match. So you'll kind of notice that not many defenses out of orange. He is building his first castle. But it might be a little bit too late to stop this major aggression. So this kind of caught orange by surprise, as you can see. Definitely enough time to go out there. One downside is if you do ring the bell, it will bring all of your villagers in. So maybe just like click and drag and bring all of those villagers in there, so you don't just have no one doing anything for a while. And these Shotel warriors, I mean, you've seen them in the past, and one of the past highlights between when I was fighting Boutony as the Aztecs. I just can't tell if those Shotel warriors are good or not. I mean, they definitely are made, like, very fast, but that doesn't really, I don't know. You can really make a ton of them, but against a really strong, well-balanced army, it's probably not the best counter. But, I mean, at this point, what else can orange do? So you'll kind of notice this is going pretty well for yellow. Orange is taking a lot of damage, a lot of downtime, a lot of villagers not collecting any resources. And we do have the Shuttle Warriors running in. I do have pretty good resource count out of yellow. Let's look at the resource count out of orange. So he is out of food, which makes sense because he's been not farming for very long recently. So he can't really build that. I mean, maybe he could be selling some wood, but I mean that's just a lot of units to be fighting against. Keep an eye on this fight as there's not much else going on. We do have a line of you'll see red knights just kind of watching the outside of purple on the mini map, but we'll go over there once some more action does come in. I guess really the only, maybe some more rams out of yellow. I mean, that'd be the only minor complaint. I mean, they are on their way, but bring a villager, build some forward production. I'm always a big fan of that. That always helps boost up your grade. Just because you don't want to have these cav archers, you know, fighting a castle. That's never a good sign. All right, we have one with the villages on it. We do see red is stealing some of the forward goal, so definitely a very good move out of him. And we do have the rams going in to finish off the castles. So we have two relics here. That is worth noting. And we'll kind of keep an eye on there. We do have another backup town center being built, but this is a pretty huge army. And these archers are going to be cut up pretty good by these knights. And the Huns are a cav civ, so these are definitely stronger horses than normal. Alright, we'll keep an eye on this while this wraps up. I mean, just a few more rams probably would have sped things along a little bit faster. You might as well have these guys build another building. We do have some forward offensive buildings out of red. And you'll see that purple is, you know, ready for the fight. We know it's coming. There's been a lot of back and forth. Did get a few of those sheep. Looks like. Then we do have an evac of the relics. So 2 relics do escape, and they do make it outside of yellow's grasp. So that is definitely worth noting. We have a fully upgraded siege ram. And we do have another full attack coming out of red. So I'm going to kind of go away from here. It is kind of the end of orange. Not much he has left. And maybe a oversight is red could have attacked from here. Let's see at his fog of war. I guess he doesn't really know what's over there. Maybe it would be worth sending a scout or a knight over there. I mean, this is a pretty brutal choke point. We have some onagers just firing away. I mean, those were cut up pretty good. And these Teutonic knights are very strong, and they're going to do a lot of damage. One thing to note for the Japanese, they have very strong towers, as they have extra resource to shoot extra arrows. So not a bad attack out of red, but unfortunately was right into the teeth of the defenses. So this was easily pushed back, and pretty decisive purple victory for this first attack. And you can see lots of towers. He is doing that recon, but the bulk of his forces are right there. And they're on the ground dead. Okay, so back to yellow. He's got a lot of troops killing horses, or killing towns. And then we do have a kind of a counter push out of purple. He does get a samurai from the Japanese, and you know, that's never a good sign to see when you are fighting another opponent. All right, we have a few more rams being built. We have a new castle, and then we have some defensive towers being built, and we have one woodcutter. Looks like yellow's forces are holding that up. We do have a defensive relic formation being down here. But we do have another forward push. We did finally get these towers upgraded to keeps. And I do think the Teutonic Knights have the most brutal death animations out of the game. So if these horses only would have kept going, maybe they could have seen these forward relics. Looks like Orange is just trying to, you know, if I died to someone, I'd probably escape and let someone else take the relics other than the person that killed me. Yeah, probably not the most speedy way of doing that, but you know, what do I know? Speed things back up. We have a kind of a counter push being crate. I knew that I needed to get rid of that siege workshop, and then you'll notice that the 2 relics were hand delivered to red, so pretty big bonus, pretty big present to be dropped on you. And that was the end of orange. So not the best showing out of orange. Definitely caught a little bit flat-footed. If he would have had a little bit more time to boom, I think he would have had a great game. But it does look like yellow attacked him at the right time. So good for him. We do have a little bit missed micro. Maybe could have sent a few more knights up to here as this castle does fall. We also have another simultaneous push out of purple to try and kind of clear out these forward bases as well. So we'll just kind of go back up to green. We haven't talked about green in a long time. He does have a relic up in this corner. He's got a pretty big army building up, and he has a lot of defensive castles on the sides. Looks like yellow is sending all his forces back. Looks like he's refortified it with some stone walls. So we're definitely seeing a next battle coming up soon out of them. And now we have, looks like we did have Trebuchet just getting ruined here. And we have a few capped rams coming towards the purple defenses. So unfortunately they weren't really well defended, so they were able to get that out. And we'll kind of look at the defense. Not much defense out of red other than the troops that are up here. So definitely a strong push. That was a bad defense of my trebuchets. Luckily the Japanese have bonuses in the trebuchets where they unpack and pack a lot faster than the average trebuchet. So that is something of worth, even though these are fast forward. And we kind of see the first raid into green, sorry, not red, losing a lot of woodcutters here out of these knights. Maybe could have had why not wall this off? Let even some palisade walls so they can't just run in here and just slaughter. I don't know how many troops there are. We'll go back here, and we do have the end, kind of the end of this little battle here. We do have a few trebs left over, and this is something I was trying to save this trebuchet. You'll see in a moment. And does he get it? No, does not get it. All right, back to the fight over here. Green sends his whole army, cleans up those yellow knights. So not a bad move. We got some conquistadors and some skirmishers. So not a bad combo against Paladin. And looks like he did lose the majority. I mean, those are the only villagers he has left, so that's a huge loss of income out of green. So definitely have to rebuild that. And now we just have a trebuchet and a ram, kind of destroying the last of those, trying to hunt down the last of these trebuchets. And we do have another battle between yellow and green. Looks like we have some arrows against some gunmen, you know, pretty interesting combo. And unfortunately, with my problem with cavalry makeup of army is like a few of these halves will just shred any horse, just that it comes across. So that's something I struggle as a player, is how do you balance that? I don't know, but that's why I kind of stay away from those civs. So maybe some trebuchets out of yellow would have been the final piece out of the puzzle for this attack. But very good attack. Got a castle down, but there are a lot of castles to go. So definitely a good battle. Interesting retreat choice here. You might as well let the ram it's going to die. Might as well have it do some damage. And we do have some good forward buildings. But a pretty brutal battle out of green does hold. He's got a lot of troops being built, but that was a pretty good battle between the two civs. We do have some forward production being made, so that is good. And we do have another kind of a showdown right here between red and purple. We got a lot of siege being built up. We have a lot of more forward production. So kind of two battles going on at the same time. I'll try and do my best to keep an eye out on both of them. I mean, that's a lot of rams being blocked by all those horses, but I mean, they'll get there eventually. And we do have the last of Orange's army right there, so silently watching. All right, Green flew up to pop max, and we will see this next fight here. So good for Green, building up those troops. I mean, he's a fan favorite, so it's always good to see him doing well. And I have talked to Milzie after this game, and he said this was the only reason he knew about this attack coming is because Yellow attacked a university for some reason. So he said that was one of the major tides of the game that helped him out during this battle specifically, because those conquistadors were able to just go up and kind of clean up the trebs right then and there. All right, no movement on that side yet, and this does cause Yellow to kind of retreat. So just out of the fan favorite himself, he said that destruction of the university was a huge win for him. He was able to notice that. He also has a second one, so he didn't really miss out on anything. And then Green kind of does the counter push. He sees his castle. He's going to go out and attack. And unfortunately, these cav archers aren't going to be very good against rams or trebuchets, so not great against siege. And but one good thing that Yellow does is other rams are a great counter to siege units if you can get there. So that is something worth noting. And now that Green kind of clears that out, he's just gonna kind of move forward. You will notice I'm gonna slow things down a bit. We do have another push out of purple, kind of going to red, so we'll kind of keep an eye on both of these at the same time. And then we do have these trebuchets. It looks like they're going to target that castle. I'll speed things back up a little bit. So you will see some Tarkans being built, the first of the game. Probably not the best to be fighting against this team comp, but let's look at, I'm going to slow things back down. Let's look at, Milzie has no gold, but he's got a lot of other resources. He can always sell stuff. And then we'll look at Iceberg. So he has a lot of food and wood, but not a lot of other things. So definitely probably sorry, I missed this. We did have a bunch of knights attack a lot of the siege out of purple, so that was definitely mismanaged by me when I was trying to catch that for red there, just so I wasn't trying to be biased or anything, but a lot going on. And we do have a lot of Nggillies coming to kind of push out. I didn't have a ton of gold in the game. Like, that was my main trouble. So didn't have a ton of good swordsmen. And Green's just kind of pushing. You know, actually looking at it, not a ton of green units. Maybe Yellow could be using these guys, sending them forward. And then you will see a counter push being made out of oh, this castle stands at 1,000. Barely stands. So we do have a counter push being made out of red. So he does clean up. I mean, that was a lot of money that I put into that army that was destroyed. So I was pretty disappointed with how that ended. And that was definitely mismanagement by me. So the samurai bravely walking towards their dying. Devastating. So we do have a slowdown on the yellow and green front. But the red and purple front is heating back up. So we have some more siege coming. I'll speed this back up. And just kind of trying to clear out some of this production. I have a wood camp coming up right there. You know, that's obviously very important that I should be doing right now. And we do have another attack out of green. So kind of go back there. Got some more trebs. Got some more rams. Really good team comp out of green. So every game he's getting better. And maybe this will be the one where he pulls out the victory. I don't know yet. We'll see. All right. So clearing out these towers, definitely a good defensive buildings out of me. I love the Japanese towers. They're one of my favorite buildings. And maybe could be sending this ram up there, but overall, pretty good push out of green, defending those trebs with those conquistadors. And looks like they will get these towers, these forward towers, but there are a lot of production to go. So we'll actually look at my, well, no, let's not look at that. I mean, this is just a real strong defensive position. Maybe those buildings were actually hurting yellow in this fight. And yellow is focusing the monastery to get that relic taken out. And the troops are waiting to get the monk. Oh, it's brutal. Alright, we have another ram taking down the market. We have another forces going in after the siege. So definitely not a bad defensive, overall not a bad defensive plan by yellow, but looks like those halbs just kind of shredding those knights. And that's my problem with cav civs. Alright, back to the other side of the map. We do have a few of the towers being cleared out here. And we do have a steady stream of champions coming into the production out of red into purple. So kind of have to clear that up for purple there. And we'll kind of focus back on this fight. And, you know, kind of cruising along slowly but surely, keeping the production up. He's got a lot of castles behind him. And he's slowly but surely carving out yellow. Got 2 defensive rams out of yellow right there, and a lot of barracks, but I guess he's only been building halbs. Something you will note that there is a very thin line of trees between red and purple at that point. Definitely didn't notice that for a while. We were pretty preoccupied with the fighting going on right here. But these halberdiers are just kind of soaking up damage while the towers do their thing. So kind of a standstill again. Just a lot of back and forth in this area between purple and red, so pretty good fights. Alright, green is slowly but surely, great team comp, carving out yellow, and you know, yellow's definitely doing his best. He's almost out of gold. He's got running low on food. He doesn't have much food production going on. So, you know, this is kind of near the end for him. And they are focusing that castle, as you should. The thin line of trees is forever getting shorter. You will see I have an onager on its way. And we will see this castle fall right here. And we do have some unupgraded skirms coming in. And they are definitely not the counter to trebuchets, that's for sure. So, I kind of have an idea. I know that this isn't working. There's a castle right there. I have a few defenses built up. I think, why don't I just go this way and clear out the trees? Probably could have had a few more units over in this area to make this a little bit more effective. As this onager, okay, it did survive there. As this onager does move in, I see a lot of villagers. I know that would be a great target I could get. So just trying to clear out some of this economy of red. And then I know he will fight here, so I have some defensive troops over there as well. I know that the main reason that I'm struggling in this fight is I don't have any gold and I don't have any relics. So I'm trying to clear out that monastery. And we'll go back to this fight, and you'll see that green is kind of uncontestedly killing out these last of the yellow buildings. He does have a little bit of wood left. He's got a little bit of gold, but there are a lot of green troops in the area. So we have a lot of skirms being built up. I did see that I cleared out a few relics out of red. I know that I'm not going to be able to obviously steal them, but I do know that just slowing down these woodcutters would be definitely effective and important. Fortunately, these trebs do die. Maybe I could have unpacked them and sent them back. But the last of the yellow's forces are located out of green. So we have 2 pushes out of here. We have some rams coming forward, and then we have some rams going back. So red definitely knows about this opening as well. I tried patching this up because I realized I kind of left myself open to attack. I don't really have anything over here. So that was probably a short-term game out of me. All I did was send some woodcutters to a different area, and I stopped a lot of I stopped a relic being generated, gold being generated for a small amount of time. So probably not worth it. I don't know. I did send the diversion to all these rams go back, so maybe you could say that was effective. Since I did see those rams go backwards, I thought maybe I could try and clear out this castle with some defenses right there. We do have a attempt of a wall here to save those woodcutters. Doesn't look like it's going to be effective, but not a bad idea. So we kind of have a two-pronged assault here. I know a lot of troops are up at the top, so I decided to go ahead and try and kill this castle. We do see a lot of rams on its way, and I was able to build 2 walls, kind of make a choke point. Too bad I didn't have an onager right there, but that would have been pretty cool. I had some pretty bad defenses for my one trebuchet, which I was pretty disappointed about. And we do have a lot of rebuilding out of yellow, a lot of villages going south, but the green army is here. They're killing everything else, so it's going to be a tough to come back from, that's for sure. Yeah, just this wall is really causing problems for those rams. Rams are the most frustrating units to watch move around the map for me personally. They make me very upset a lot of times just because of how slow they are. And I feel like every second they're just slowly moving towards their location, I feel like my opponent's gonna find them. So you'll see a lot of my lumber cap up there, up in this corner. Kind of hoping that green doesn't attack me. I have no idea where green is. I assume green and yellow are doing something. Otherwise, I'd see more of their troops. We have a lot of castles being built. I thought those were green rams for a second, but this is kind of the end. They're kind of being squeezed out. This castle does stand from this attack earlier. I think 2 Teutonic Knights came in and just killed that trebuchet, no problem. But yeah, Onager is pretty good counter to rams for sure. But I mean, just one knight is just, what are these guys doing? Nothing. At least shoot at these guys. Don't let the tower fall. Oh well. Yeah, okay. So green's kind of moving in. You know, this is the last area of yellow. We do have a lot of buildings being built over here out of yellow, but I mean, the last of his economy is in this corner, and it's slowly being killed. These rams were cleaned up. The town center and that keep does hold. And we do have... Oh, he doesn't make it. Dying breath of the Teutonic Knight, killing that skirmisher. I do try and kill this castle again. And do I succeed? Yes, I do. So just in the nick of time, got that pulled off. And we do have the town center being killed. And these trebs are moving forward to try and kill that castle, which, I mean, they probably should. So a lot of just trash units fighting between me and red. And there's been a lot of back and forth. I'm making a little ground up here. Red's making a little bit ground up here. So kind of interesting battles. Yellow is kind of rebuilding some knights. And but his last castle is being destroyed. Oof. Not necessary. out of green, maybe he's trying to pick off some villagers. And we'll keep a guy on this. We have some Albedeers fighting each other. We have some new barracks being built out of purple. And we do have another forward push out of red down here. But yeah, it's going to be tough to push with those 2 keeps right there. We have a villager trying to finish the wall up, patch that hole. I kind of realized that was probably not the best move out of me, and I need to get that done because red's obviously focusing all of his units in that area. And we get another wall built, but another wave of halbs do come through, so not the best. And we have another bunch of, I'm assuming that all halbs were double selected and sent to go that way. So that's kind of unfortunate that those were on the same screen. And green does finally clear out the rest, making sure to get those farms, you know, I don't want them coming back. Cleaning up the rest out of yellow. So this is just a big choke point. Too bad, I mean, obviously red has a Mangudel coming Too bad I didn't have one there to just kind of wipe all these guys out. But that was definitely a good idea out of red. Getting just some free hits into this choke point. See how many he gets. Only, alright, I do catch it pretty early. But that does get that open. We do have I'm going to speed this back up. We do have some, what are those, hussars? Oh, light calves coming through. Kind of the dying breath out of yellow. I mean, he has all this. He doesn't have much resources left. So, not, maybe could resign a little bit earlier. We do have a new onager at the front lines here. And we do have these light calves destroying these trebuchets, and then he does resign. So maybe not the best form to be done, but, you know, it's whatever. We have another pretty strong push out of red, trying to clear out this town center, which looks like he will succeed. A lot of the purple troops are, I just don't really have that many, I guess, at this moment. Let's look at my, yeah, I have a lot of wood and food, but I was really hurting on gold. Basically the whole game. Red was stealing a lot of my gold. So that was obviously not the best, you know, not the best management for me, but a lot of fun back and forth between me and red. And those 3 relics that he has, plus the 2 bonus relics he got from orange, definitely helped him out a lot in the long run with nothing coming out of me. There's another defensive castle down here. So, still fighting. He's taking down that outpost. Is that necessary, red? I don't know. I mean, just Halbs fighting Halbs. I mean, that's really what it has been for a long time. So, now I'm on the other side of the trees. I'm going to patch this hole up so I don't have to worry about this anymore. Looks like we had some knights on their way. And at this point, I noticed that yellow's out. I'm sure red noticed this as well. I was like, I wonder where green is. And then here he is. So I'm kind of putting everything I can to fight red. At this point, green shows up on my base, and I was like, well, I can't fight this army. Look at all that gold in those conquistadors. So I'm basically done. This villager traps himself inside 2 walls. Very frustrating. So I kind of decide that I'm going to have one final push, and I'm going to see how many red buildings I can destroy. And we'll kind of speed things up a bit, kind of towards the end. And you can just see that's a great team comp. I mean, all I have is halberdiers, so I mean, not really sure what I was going to be able to do against that fight. Definitely could have stalled things out and then been probably killed by red, but I didn't want to die to red, so I just kind of, it was over for me, basically, at this point. Green slowly but surely, just like it did yellow, going that out. And you'll see I have a lot of skirms, a lot of halberdiers, a few skirms, and getting ready for the last push against red, the mortal enemy of purple. You will notice on the mini map you see streaking on the other side a bunch of knights heading towards green. I'm assuming that red sees my point score going way down, so he knows he has to do something to green, otherwise he's just gonna win. And we kind of have the final battle between the two. Green's cleaning up. I mean, these are all the purple forces left. Obviously some major mismanagement by me again with my trebs, which is pretty frustrating. I had a lot of trebuchets die for no reason. Why those 2 went at the top of the map for some reason, I have no idea. But I was able to clear out that castle and the town center, so I was pretty happy with that. You will notice there are a lot of knights just dying to all these castles, so pretty devastating attack by red to green. First attack by red. I wouldn't even really call it an attack. Obviously these are glitching or something, but that was a pretty brutal loss. The champion, the Cav Archer, built by mistake. And I did talk to Milzie. He said this was another deciding factor of this game. I decided to fight red there, which, you know, why wouldn't I? Red was attacking me the all game for no reason, so I wasn't allowed to let him beat me. If anyone's going to beat me, it was going to be green. So I resign there. I'm effectively out of the game. I mean, I have some resources left, but it's over. I don't have any villagers left. So now it's down to 2. It's between the champion. Are we going to have our first 3 times champion? Or are we going to have a new champion, the fan favorite green? I mean, if you've watched the progression throughout the games, green has gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot more variety. Doesn't just have his unique unit. So good job out of him. Slowly clearing out these buildings that are in the way. And we even have some forward production. So that's pretty good. And looks like these walls were destroyed. All right, you're probably like, hey, Matt, did I notice the streaking red across the map? I did notice. So will this be better than last time? Will all these knights die for no reason? The answer is no, they will not. They will find the woodcutters. So this is a pretty big blow to green. He's probably obviously preoccupied by this push down here. I mean, why wouldn't you be? But he doesn't have a lot of woodcutters about to die. I guess, like I said earlier in the game, if you would have just had a wall here, he could have had a lot of these guys survive. So maybe something to note for next game, green. But he is building a forward castle in the corner here, and he's got a lot of trebs in the way, or waiting in the flanks. But a lot of woodcutters dying. A lot of woodcutters dying. A lot of scrims sitting here too. All right, we have this push out of red, and looks like he is going to successfully repel this first assault, smartly moving those trebuchets out of the way. And looks like he's rebuilding the forces. He's got a lot of barracks in the area, so getting ready. You will see that these knights have moved on from killing all of the woodcutters to trying to clear out some of these farmers. So let's look at both of the final two's resources. Milzie, since we're up here, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff in the bank. He's got some gold left. He's got a lot of food and wood, so he's doing fine. Let's look at Boutony. Boutony has a ton. Oh my, wow, a ton of food in the bank. He's hurting on wood. That's kind of surprising. Yeah, he doesn't have very many woodcutters. I mean, he's got some supervisors that are orange. All right, we'll speed things back up. The last of these forward knights are kind of cleared out eventually, but they obviously they did what they were trying to do. They cleared out a bunch of the eco out of green, so that was definitely a good call out of him. So now we kind of have a pretty big push. This is definitely an aggressive castle, which I like a lot out of green. But this does get cleared out. He's got some trebs left. He's got some Nggillies. And now they're moving forward. So we have our first champions being built out of green. I like that a lot. I mean, he does recognize that he's fighting a lot of Alberdiers. So a few champion will definitely just kind of clear those guys out. So no need to panic. And just kind of slowly but surely rebuild the forces. And we'll see. I mean, he's got a pretty big score lead on red. So hopefully he'll be able to do that. I heard some sounds of the dying nation out of red. Looks like let's see how quickly. Will he get that rebuilt? Okay, he got it rebuilt. That was pretty fast. Good job. Oh, another sound of the dying nation. When I say that, I mean the farm expiring. It looks like red is doing pretty good at getting those rebuilds. Okay, we have another pretty big push out of green. Looks like he is trying to clear out all these halbs. He's got some Nggillies in the back out of red, so good job there. I guess kind of the more I play, the more I like Nggillies or onagers. They're kind of an interesting unit. They're pretty tough to manage because they do have friendly fire, but they're pretty interesting overall if you can use them correctly. And at this point, maybe some more production out of red could have turned the tide. I mean, compared to green, he's got a whole new base up here. Got some siege rams coming in. Got a deer watching respectfully nearby. And red does a pretty good job focusing the market if red's trying to do any trading. And now he's just kind of working on clearing out these buildings. Oh, a lot of farms not done there. That's not going to look well on the economy grade. And at that point, Red does realize that it's probably over, so he does resign. So overall, very exciting game. We do have a new champion in Milzie, the fan favorite, so good job for him. And we'll kind of move over to the... Oh, hold on 1 second. We'll move on over to the Greats, which I know everyone is very excited about. So, last champion, Tony, he had a very good military. He had a very good economy. I'm going to give him a few docks for those expired farms at the end. And for spice, I don't think he really had anything spicy, so I'm going to give him a D. I mean, there wasn't much spice in this game. A lot of fundamentals. So I'm giving everyone a D. I don't think I remember anything exciting happening. I'll give Boutony a D+ because he did convert to Samurai. And yeah, usually the spice leader is Nate Orange Nggillies, but looks like he died too quickly, so he wasn't really able to do that. But overall, economy was very good. Well, we'll go C- out of Gillies. He did have a great economy, but the only thing he was lacking was military, and that's really ultimately that got him killed right away. So give him a C on that one. Boutony looks like he got a B- on there, just missing some spice for the viewers. Maybe he wasn't really considering that during his time. I'm going to give Yellow a B+ military. He had a strong military, and the past few games he's been kind of struggling with the early game aggression, so really going to reward that. And economy was nothing really, kind of was fine, nothing bad. I'm trying to think of what would be an A for economy. And I think it's if you could, like, I'll have to look at the scores, but I think that would really have to just do it. Military for me, I'm going to give a B- because I had a lot of mismanagement of siege, which kind of made me really bummed out. And then economy, Milzie A, military A. I mean, he's the winner, so he's going to get all that. I did just realize that we did not do the achievements, so we'll go back to there. And that was the grades, so obviously very exciting stuff. Pabst Blue Ribbon goes to Green Milzie. So, I mean, highest military score, highest economy score. I mean, it's at the end when people are dead, but very good KD ratio out of red, and a very bad one out of myself in purple. That is one of the things I struggle with. If you've been watching the games, is I do have a lot more buildings or people killed than I kill myself. So something worth noting. I did lose the most buildings. I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. And then, yeah, green killed out. He wiped out all of purple and all of yellow. So that stat makes a lot of sense. A lot of wood collected out of purple. A lot of food and gold collected out of red. Keep in mind that is with relics, and red did have 3 relics. But that's a pretty good stat. Actually, maybe that isn't relics. I guess I don't know. I know trade goes in here. I'm not sure if relics do. And then we do have stone collected out of yellow. Technology, pretty consistent. Feudal age, pretty consistent. Other than, I mean, that's a really fast castle age out of yellow, and looks like orange should not make it into the imperial. Very good exploration by green. Pretty low out of myself. I guess I was really only focused on one area. And high tech, so good job, green. And society, we had 8 castles out of yellow and green. Didn't realize it was that high. 3 relics out of red, good job there. And that's 7,000 gold. You would think it'd be more. That just shows, I mean, even that small income of gold does definitely help. So on the last, we have the timeline. Here it is. Overall, thanks everyone for watching. If you have any suggestions for me, definitely let me know in the comments below. And I'll do my best. Hope you guys had a good time watching, and I'll hopefully have another video up for you soon. See you later.